Good day, and I hope this finds you well. I just want to go over a quick demo here of the preceptor side of our new interface. We do have a few new let's say updates and features that should be released pretty soon. But just to give a quick overview here, we wanted to make it as simple as possible to navigate for students and as simple as possible for preceptors and clinical sites to list their sites. So here is the homepage. You don't need to be logged in as a student just to search. Of course, once you do search, anything that shows up in the search area down here will require them to log in order to access and send messages to the preceptor. So let's just take a second to log into my preceptor account. So here I've already registered and my preceptor account's through LinkedIn. So let's use that real quick. It's very, very simple, a few steps through the process to register, and then you're set. It'll bring you to your preceptor dashboard where you can start listing your rotations. Some preceptors or clinical sites might only have one, where some will have multiple, and maybe at different price ranges too, depending on the type of student. If it's a pre-med doing shadowing versus a medical student currently going through their rotations versus maybe a medical graduate that is trying to boost their CV for their following match process. So you'd go through and fill out all of this information here. I'll pause for the moment and I can fill out my information here. I apologize, one of my password apps is kind of screwing up the look of the text fields right now by auto-generating stuff. I will have to fix that later. But the preceptor can then select whatever rotation type they are using for this rotation. Let's say you have one student at a time for an inpatient rotation, but you can also have two observerships. Well, you can easily just duplicate this and create two different rotations, which will then be listed on the searches. Of course, if you have multiple specialties as well, you can select as many as you'd like and put the description of the clinical site down here. What do you expect from the student? What is the clinical site like? What can they expect from the rotation with you? Are there any documents that you'd like to add in? You can copy and paste them here. We are adding a document upload very soon as well. And then we've also preset a few different options here for documents that you might require from the student. This will maintain a little bit of consistency, so they have to send these documents in before the application will go through so that preceptors don't become spammed or overloaded with too many applications. We are going to add the ability to add your own documents as well, besides just these few that we've preset. And then you can select an image for your clinical site. This could be the preceptor headshot or maybe a picture of the building. As we know from like Amazon and other product type or service type websites, if you have an image, it's much more likely that people will click on it. So that is something that's very important, as well as setting your price, which is on a weekly basis. Your compensation is whatever you want it to be. You make that entire amount. We don't take anything from it, with the caveat of possibly taxes or something along those lines. From there, it will bring you to the calendar, which we are definitely changing the calendar view very soon. It's not the most intuitive, but basically what this does at the moment is just says if you are accepting students during that week or not, and how many students can you accept for this type of rotation. So again, if we're only accepting one for this in-person, inpatient rotation, then we only want to select one for these. If it is something else, maybe an observership or a student shadowing, we can bump it up to as many as we want. And what that does is when students apply and are accepted to it, our system will automatically remove that listing during those search periods. So students will not be over or be able to send multiple applications to a rotation that is already booked up. And there we go. Now we have our test hospital at $500 a week, and we can start accepting applications here. One last step would be to publish it, because when it's in a draft format, it will not show in the search results, but that leaves it completely open to the preceptor or the clinical site or admin to alter this as needed, to edit it as needed, and to view different information about it. If any applications come in, students will also be able to message you directly in app, so you don't need to give out any personal information to the students, and you can reply in app as well. And that's the quick overview of the current platform. Hopefully, you've enjoyed this. Please do let me know if you have any questions or concerns or feature requests. We're definitely taking those into considerations as we unleash new versions.